Well, good afternoon. We are running a little behind on our class schedule and our syllabus, and so this is really important to me and I want to get caught up. So today I'm going to take some time and introduce to you the topic of relation. So relation falls under, it has two things that fall under it, cause and effect, and antecedent and consequent. And we've already talked a little bit about those. You know that the purpose of invention is to think and examine and look at ideas and see what comes up to build your inventory so that you have a lot of good things to choose from and so that you see things that you didn't see before that you can write about. This is the diagram that helps me remember this topic of invention. The box stands for the issue or event. This arrow stands for the things that caused it, and this arrow stands for the things that it caused, or otherwise known as effects. Okay? So just to introduce the concept, I thought we could do something fun. The first thing that you have to do is choose an issue or an event. Okay, there are two ways to do this. This is the first way, A. Okay? The issue or event is that I cleaned my bedroom. So what caused me to clean my bedroom? It was dirty. It was messy. The word chaos. Chaos reigned, okay? So is that why I cleaned my room? Kind of. What were some other reasons that I cleaned my room? Well, maybe I cleaned my room because because I'm one of those people that like to be in control of things. And so the rest of my life felt very out of control, and I realized that I could control my bedroom, so I cleaned it, and it gave me this happy feeling. Maybe I cleaned my bedroom because of my character. Because when I walk in and see a mess, I think, in order to be a good person, I need to take care of this and clean this up. But maybe I cleaned my bedroom because my husband, Mr. Pierce, had been out of town for 5 days and he was coming home. Right? These are all causes. These can all be true at the same time, right? They're not mutually exclusive. As we look closer, some might be more true than others. Here's the issue or event. And so, because of this, mostly, by the way, because of this, I cleaned my room. Well, what did this event cause? Which, you could call it the cause of the cause, or the cause issue, whatever, but really, it's an effect. What were the effects of my decision? I cleaned my room got clean. I cleaned my room, and when my friend came over and had to go into my room, I was not embarrassed. So I saved face. I cleaned my room, and when Mr. Pierce came home, he had a place to put his suitcase down, and he didn't trip and break his neck over all the things that had been lying all over the room before. So another effect was he didn't get hurt, and he had room to unpack. These effects can keep moving forward because they can have effects too, right? When your husband comes home and he has room to unpack his suitcase, that leads to a more pleasant, happy kind of day, and maybe that leads to other things. When your friend comes over and sees your room and isn't embarrassed, that could cause other things. But here's what I want you to see. The temptation is to be really shallow. The room was dirty, so Mrs. Pierce cleaned it, and now her room is clean. Who cares? That's not interesting or important. But when we use this cause and effect method, we can go a little deeper, and we can see that actually the main reason Mrs. Pierce cleaned her room is because Mr. Pierce was coming home. And the main effect of her cleaning her room was that he had room then to unpack his suitcases. Okay? So that's the A way. You choose an issue, an event, or event. You list the causes, and you list the effects. And it just helps you go below the surface. Okay? There's another way to do this, called the B way. And that is where, same thing, you've got to choose an issue. And then, instead of listing the causes, you list the antecedents, which just means you list things that happened before. So what are some things that happened before I cleaned my room? Well, that morning, the older gentleman that I walk with rang the doorbell, and I went for a walk with him. So I walked with Stan. Another thing that happened before I cleaned my room is that I had a very busy week. Another thing that happened before I cleaned my room is that I was the only adult at home. So that meant that I was the only person who got the room dirty, implying that maybe I should be the one to clean it. And also that I was the only person to do all the other adult tasks in the home, so I didn't have as much time to do it. Another thing that happened before I cleaned my bedroom was that I graduated from high school. I got married. I had kids. My husband and I bought a home or a house. So these are things that happened before. Then, here's the event. Now I do, what are some things that happened after? Those are called consequence. And that just means what happened after I did this. Well, after I cleaned my room, of course my room got clean. You know, another thing that happened is then it got messy again. One thing that happened after I cleaned my room is that I got some energy from it and I was having a good time and I kept going. And I cleaned the kitchen too. Another thing that happened after I cleaned my room is that we had 7 people over for dinner. Another thing that happened after I cleaned my room is Tim came home, my husband, Mr. Pierce. He came home. That's enough. Okay, so we have some things that happened before, we have some things that happened after. Then what you have to do, so we chose an issue, we listed antecedents, we listed consequence, Well then there's an extra step in this, and that is that you have to evaluate for cause and effect. So I'm going to evaluate the antecedents for cause, and I'm going to evaluate the consequence for effects. So, walking with Stan, I did do that before I cleaned my room. Did it cause me to clean my room? No. It might have kept me from ever getting it done, but it didn't. I had a really busy week. Did that cause me to clean my room? Indirectly, it did. If you go back another step, you could go like this, because it got the room dirty, which is why I had to clean it, right? I didn't keep tidying up as I went. I was the only adult in the home. Did that cause me to clean my room? Absolutely. I was the only one who lived in that room. I was the only one available to clean that room, and I was the only one doing a lot of other things, which kept me from having time to keep it neat, which is why it got dirty. So that was definitely a cause. I graduated from high school. Did that cause me to clean my room? No. It just happened before I cleaned my room. It didn't cause anything. It just happened before. I got married. Did that cause me to clean my room? Absolutely. If I wasn't married and I didn't share this room with someone else, I probably would not have cleaned it. I had kids. Did that cause me to clean my room? No. I had a home or a house. Did that cause me to clean my room? Kind of. If I didn't have a house and I lived in a cardboard box, I wouldn't have needed to clean it, right? I could just throw it away and get a new box. So I've evaluated my cause. Now I'm going to evaluate my effects. I cleaned my bedroom. Is that what caused it to be clean? Yes. Well, then it got messy again. Is being clean what caused it to be messy? Probably not. Probably that was me. I cleaned my bedroom. Did that cause me to clean the kitchen? Yes, it did. I just decided to keep going. I cleaned my room. Did that cause me to have 7 dinner guests over? You could say that it gave me that feeling of having my house under control and I felt good about it, and so I was more comfortable doing that. Very indirect cause, but you can see a relationship there. Mr. Pierce came home. Did Mr. Pierce come home because I cleaned my room? No. But if he did, if I determined that that really was cause, that would tell you something very interesting about our relationship, wouldn't it? What if I put down here that after I cleaned my room, that Mr. Pierce wasn't angry with me anymore? That would tell you something kind of weird about our relationship. Or the fact that it's not there tells you something different about the kind of marriage or friendship or relationship that we have and what it looks like for us to share a room. So this is really a reach, but this absolutely was not a true effect. This really was a true effect. Another effect is that Mr. Pierce had room to unpack, right? So one effect of this is just that it was fair, that it was courteous. There was a courteous situation in place. Okay? So this is sort of the B way. The A way is you just choose the issue event and you list causes and effects, just sort of going forward and backward. But the other way is to list all the antecedents, list all the consequences, and then look for relationships. This is really great if you're having problems coming up with things to say, because you would have never really thought that me getting married would cause me to clean my room. That's much more interesting to sort of speculate and think about and dig into and write about than the fact that my room was dirty and so I cleaned it. So this is a great way to generate information. So that's your introduction to the topic of invention called relation.